Hi guys. I know a lot of you, but for those of you that don't know me, I am Mrs. Pond. I am part of the counseling department, but I run the Career Center, which is located right across from the school store, so you guys all know where that is. I'm in the room right across from that. I am a one-woman show, so I'm the only person that runs that room. It is a resource room when I am open, and I'm not doing a class or a presentation in there, so you're welcome to use that room when you have off mods. You can come in and study, you can get help from me. But because I'm only one person that runs that room, I have a very weird schedule, and it changes every day, every week. So like this week, yesterday, I was at UW-Stevens Point most of the day on a visit with some students. Today, I was out in the woods with ag classes. Was anybody on that? I don't think so. I was out at the school forest learning how to cruise timber, and then I was on a logging site. So I've been gone a lot today, and I'm trying to thaw out right now. Just got back. I work with your counselors. You guys all have a counselor assigned to you. I am part of that department. I'm a little bit more specialized in what I do. If your counselor ever tells you that you need to talk with me, that is not strange. We are a team. We work together. My background. Does anybody have a guess on what my background is? I have college degrees. Does anybody want to guess at what my degrees are in? Yes, dear.
Counseling.
That would make sense. Counseling. I do not have a counseling degree.
English.
English! I have an English undergraduate degree. I have a bachelor's degree in English, non-teaching. Very hard to get a job and a degree in English when you're not in the teaching path. I have a master's degree. It's not in counseling. It's not in secondary education. My master's degree is higher education. I have a higher education administration degree, which means that principals here in the building have an administration degree for secondary ed. I have that degree for colleges. So folks with my degree tend to work on college campuses. They work in admissions. They work in academic advising and career advising, residence life, financial aid offices, student life, student activity, student employment. That's my background. I have worked in many of those areas, but for the last 12 years I've been here at West working with pre-college students. So I'm here to help you guys figure out how to get from point A, which is freshman year, to point B, which is going to be graduation. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do. I know there's a lot of seniors in here. I've worked with a lot of seniors that are in here. I'm here to help you seniors apply for college, fill out financial aid forms, contact colleges when you've got questions, learn about your options, but I'm here to help those of you that are not seniors too. If you are a junior, please raise your hand, because this is juniors and seniors only, right? Oh, so we're very senior heavy in this group. Awesome. Okay, so some of the stuff I will talk about today may not apply to a senior when we're looking at how to prepare for what's next, but for those of you that are juniors, please tune in. So, Mr. Kostrowski is nice enough to invite me in to speak to young adult medicine every year. What I do when I speak to you guys, since I am not a healthcare professional, I talk to you about what kind of jobs are out there in healthcare. What are the options looking like in our state for employment in healthcare? So, we have a problem in Wisconsin. We have a huge problem, but we have a really big problem in central Wisconsin, and it gets even worse once we get out of Marathon County and go north. So our problem is we're getting old. Our counties are old. They are heavy with the baby boomer generation. In 2010, which was a long time ago now, so 8 years ago, less than 15% of Marathon County was 65 years or older. However, by the year 2040, that's going to jump up to 23%. That's almost a quarter of our population is going to be in that retirement age. That means all their jobs are going to be open, and we need to fill those. I mentioned this morning that I was on the job site out on a logging site today. Loggers. You might not think about loggers. The average age of loggers in Wisconsin, I think, is 59 right now. Okay, in our state, we need these industries to keep going, to provide jobs, to provide goods and services. So in Wisconsin, we've got pulp mills, we've got paper mills. My husband is a forester. He works at a mill that makes siding. If we don't have loggers to cut the trees, we can't keep these industries open. Same goes for healthcare. A lot of our population issue is going to be seen in these healthcare jobs that we have. When you look at nursing, how many of you guys are thinking of maybe a path in nursing? I know there's a bunch of you, some of you are CNAs now. So right now in Wisconsin, the average age of a nurse is right around 50 years old. Okay, I'm going to think that's pretty young. But when we look at lifespan of career lifespan, we need to fill those positions. We're going to need to fill them soon. By 2030, we are going to have a deficit of almost 24,000 nurses. That means we're going to have openings for about 24,000 nurses in the state of Wisconsin. and we need to fill those. Those openings are there because of retirement, but also because we have more of that population that is going to be at the 65 and up, they're gonna need more healthcare. We need to add more nurses to our current population that we have in order to care for the folks that are in that 65 and up crowd. The rest of the generations don't have as many people in it. Baby boomers are right now the biggest generation that we have. It used to be, how many of you used to, take a guess, what used to be the average children that were born in a household?
2.5?
Yeah, it was like 2 point something. Right now it's under 2, it's like 1.4, I think. Okay, so we're having less children. I don't know what generation you guys are classified as. Millennials technically aren't you, you're the Gen Z, which hasn't been named yet. So I'm not sure what their fancy name will be. But millennial generation, which is just above you, are having less children and they're having them later in life. That is great, children are expensive. How many of you think you want kids at some point? Okay, great. More of you will probably have them and you might not want them or expect them. Please know that children are expensive. I myself only have 2 children. I don't have a lot of kids. My kids are in 3rd grade and kindergarten. I work 9 months a year. My kids go to daycare now, before and after school. Since my daughter was born 8 years ago, and again, only daycare 9 months a year, I have spent $75,000 in daycare, which is worth it. It's valuable. They learn things. But at the end of that, it's not like a college education. The average cost of going to school in Wisconsin at a public university is going to cost you between $60,000 and $70,000 for a 4-year degree. My kids are in daycare for many, many, many years, and they're not getting a job when they're done. Okay? I'm just paying for them to be safe so I can go to work. We are having less children. That's an issue. 3 to 1. By the year 2020, which is 2 years away, for every 3 nurses that leave the profession, we only have 1 going into it. So what does that mean? We're going to be crunched. We need more people going into healthcare. But if you are interested in nursing, if you like people, if you've got a good bedside manner, if you want to make a difference in that way, you are going to have plenty of job opportunities. You are probably going to have multiple job opportunities. So that is good if you're looking at that. These are the fastest growing healthcare careers from 2012 to 2020. So these are all specific to healthcare since you're in young adult medicine. So we've got sonographers. Anybody know what a sonographer is? You can pull from my freebies if you know what a sonographer is. Anybody know? Can? Yes?
Someone who operates like an ultrasound?
Yes, someone that operates an ultrasound. You're right. Sonographers. I have a lot of people that say, I want to be a sonographer because I love babies. I think pregnancy is so great. Well, no, there's also things that you do in sonography that are not great. Have you had a sonographer come and talk to you guys yet? You're going to do ultrasounds for sad situations, people that are in car accidents, people that have internal bleeding, people that maybe have a tumor, people that are going through a miscarriage. So it's not always wonderful. PAs, physician assistants, you guys probably know what those are. Again, high demand. Vet technologist falls into the healthcare career, so it's working with animals. But still. Nurse practitioners, surgeons, cardiovascular technologists working with the heart, medical and clinical lab technologists. We have somebody in the building that's trained to do that. Does anybody know who that is? Mrs. Gerstenberger is a clinical lab tech, for those of you that didn't know that. Do you guys know who Mrs. Gerstenberger is? Science teacher. She teaches medical terminology. She's a great fit for teaching medical terminology. Clinical lab techs are analyzing all of that information that comes from labs when you get lab work done. Home health aides, we need lots of home health aides. It is not a high-paying job. It's a great job you could actually do when you're a high school student, or care for somebody at your own home that has some health needs, maybe someone who's elderly or has a disability. Surgical technologists are the fancy people that get to memorize all the different tools that are used in surgeries and hand those tools to surgeons and assist during surgeries. Dental hygienists, medical assistants, therapists, all other, tons of therapists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, and folks that are working with the eyes. And radiation therapists, I didn't make that little dot black, so it's orange there. So, those are the healthcare careers. These are the most in-demand careers in Wisconsin. When we look at this list, there's not a lot of healthcare careers on here, are there? So, we have RNs and CNAs and medical assistants are our healthcare careers that are most in demand. Does that mean that the other careers that were on the other list aren't in demand? No. But in our state, These are the careers that are looking for the most folks. When we look at that list, there's a lot of different training that's needed for all of those. You have options after high school. Your options include going to colleges, and these are your different college options. And you don't have to go to college. I'm not going to stand up here and tell everybody you need to go get a degree. You do not. You could certainly enter the workforce after high school. There are jobs out there that need to be filled. Just know that if you directly enter the workforce and don't get any kind of training after high school, your lifetime earnings will not be quite as high, or as high at all, as if you had some type of training. Your other options, so it's either going into work, going to get a college degree, going into the military, one of the branches of the military, going into an adult apprenticeship program, which I'll talk about in a little bit. What am I missing? I think that's everything, right? Not staying at home and staying in your parents' basement and doing nothing. So we have to make a decision of what we're going to do. So post-secondary means after high school. What are your training options? A technical college. Anybody want to tell me what type of programs, not programs, what type of degrees you can get at a technical college? I've got my pens and stuff, it's awesome. An associate degree, how long does an associate degree take to complete? 2 years. Associate degree, anybody else? Faith?
Certificate.
A certificate. Do you happen to know of a certificate program? Yes! Even though it's called a short-term technical diploma, technically it's a certificate program. A certificate is a short-term program. It takes less than a year to complete. It is very specific on that career area. You're not taking general education courses for that. An associate degree at a technical college is specific in that career area with a few gen eds. So you can get an associate degree in nursing, but you're also going to take some math, some science, some English, oral and written communications. You can get an associate degree in, let's see, what else is an associate degree? That's healthcare. Dental hygienist is an associate degree as well. There's also something called a technical diploma. That is typically a one-year program. And you can get those at a technical college as well. Again, those career-focused classes with fewer of those gen eds. Medical assistant is a technical diploma program. We have 16 technical colleges in Wisconsin. NTC is one of those. Each of those colleges has multiple campuses. NTC's main campus, its mothership campus, is in Wausau. They also have a campus in Wittenberg, Anago, Spencer, Medford, Phillips, and Merrill. So there's a lot of opportunities. You can go to any technical college in the state of Wisconsin, or outside the state too if you want to. Colleges and universities are another option. Wisconsin's kind of had a weird go this last year with our UW system and what's going on there. We used to have 13 two-year UW colleges and then 13 four-year UW universities. Within the last year, they've kind of merged, and those two-year campuses have come under a wing or a parent wing of a four-year campus. So they are still an option to go to. You can get an associate degree in applied arts and sciences at one of those two-year campuses and then transfer to any UW. So if you've seen the sign, if you drive by the old UWMC campus and now it's purple and it says University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point at Wausau, that campus and the Marshfield campus became part of UWSP. If you are thinking of going there, that does not mean you have to ultimately end up at Point. You could go to a different college after you go there for a year or two. That is fine. Public institutions versus private institutions. So we have 13 four-year UW campuses, and we have 24, 23 private universities in Wisconsin. Those include St. Norbert in De Pere, Viterbo in La Crosse, bless you, Marion in Fond du Lac, Marquette in Milwaukee, MSOE, Milwaukee School of Engineering. You guys heard of it? Okay, tell me some of the majors they have. Engineering. Do they offer a healthcare major? Anybody know what it is?
Is it biomedical engineering?
Nope. Nursing. Weirdly enough, they're known for engineering and nursing. If you want to be a nurse, that's an option. Nonprofit versus for-profit colleges. The UW system, the technical college system, and our private nonprofit system are all nonprofit campuses. There are some colleges out there that are called for-profit colleges or universities. They function a little differently. They don't get state aid, and if you choose to go there, you might not qualify for certain grants or loans from the government or the state. A for-profit campus potentially could be an option for you depending on what you're looking at. However, what I typically see is that they are expensive. You invest a lot of money into a degree that might not hold a lot of water when you graduate. You want to make sure that the campus is there and their main goal is to educate you and to get you out of there to get a job, that they don't just see you as a dollar sign. If you ever talk to a campus and you feel like they're looking at you like you're a bundle of money, walk away. We have some for-profits. We have some in Wausau. We have Rasmussen in Wausau. There are some national ones at the University of Phoenix. Please be cautious if you're looking at one of those programs. Another post-secondary option that I'm listing here, because you can use it for healthcare, is registered adult apprenticeship. Not youth apprenticeship for high school, but adult apprenticeship. The state of Wisconsin has a number of apprenticeship programs, and they are working to develop a nursing program. Again, because we have such a nursing shortage, they're trying to get more people into that field. Does anybody know anybody who ever did a registered adult apprenticeship? So it's on-the-job training plus classroom time. You are paid while you're training. You're hired by an employer. They're paying you to train, and they're paying you to put your butt in a seat to do education classes at a college as well. And then when you graduate, you have a job with that employer. It is a great way to get into a career field, and if you're interested in healthcare, it is now an option. So when we look at that list, and when we looked at that list before of the most in-demand jobs in Wisconsin, I've got these 4 highlighted. Anybody want to take a guess at why those 4 are highlighted? What do they have in common? Nobody? It has to do with training or education. Yes. These 4 are going to require a 4-year degree. To be a teacher, you need a bachelor's degree. To be an engineer, you need a bachelor's degree. To work in HR, you can be an HR assistant without a bachelor's degree, but to be an HR officer, you typically need a bachelor's degree. And you need a bachelor's degree to be an accountant. Many of these you can get more than that too, get your master's degree as well. These 2 I have highlighted because for those IT professionals and registered nurses, those pathways are going to be typically bachelor's degree or associate degree. There are a lot of IT jobs as well. If you are interested in healthcare, but people and being social is not your thing, there's a lot of IT jobs in healthcare too. RNs, you can get hired as a registered nurse with your 2-year degree. You can get hired as a registered nurse with your 4-year degree. You're probably going to make the same amount of money. If you want to move up, though, and if you want more responsibilities, or you want to become a manager, or you eventually want to become a nurse practitioner, you need that bachelor's degree. There was a time in Wisconsin where they were thinking about requiring all nurses to have a bachelor's degree. It hasn't happened because we have such a deficit of nurses. However, if you go on to get an associate degree in nursing, you may find an employer that will say, we want to keep you, and we will pay for you to get your bachelor's degree. So keep that in mind, okay? All the ones in green. Either you can get all of your training or start your training at a technical college. So for teachers, you need a bachelor's degree. You can't start out at a technical college to be a health teacher or a PE teacher. But if you like little kids and you want to be an early childhood teacher, you could start at the technical college system, do an early childhood program, transfer to another school like Point, finish your bachelor's degree, and be ready to go to teach 4K. In Wausau, for the Wausau School District, you need a bachelor's degree to teach 4K. You can start out at the technical college system to do that. Engineers, you can be an engineering assistant. There are certain engineering programs that you can do at a technical college. You can graduate, you can start working right away. A lot of those transfer on if you want to get that bachelor's degree. IT, again, associate degree to bachelor's degree. RNs, we just talked about. CNAs, you start out that 1 year, less than 1 year program. Diesel technicians, machinists, welders, carpenters, auto, heavy equipment, human resources. You can do human resources as an associate degree and transfer to get that bachelor's degree if you want to be an officer in that. An accounting assistant is a technical diploma, and then there's an accounting associate degree, and then that can ladder into a bachelor's degree. So all of those can start at a technical college. And these ones are all the ones that the state of Wisconsin has a registered apprenticeship for, an adult apprenticeship program. Wisconsin has added IT, computer sciences, they're adding nursing, and I think the rest of them they already have. Apprenticeship typically used to be like electricians and plumbers and construction, but we're broadening that. They're actually, like I was on that logging site today, they're wanting to broaden it to make a logging apprenticeship. We're trying to fill the need that we have for jobs and get people interested in these positions. What do you think? Should we do this one?
Is this the one with the kid?
This is the really long one. I can skip it.
If you want.
Here, we can do this. Now, again, my background, I have a bachelor's degree, I have a master's degree, a master's in education and higher ed. These guys have bachelor's degrees. We are products of that system. It is a great system. I don't want you to think that I'm telling you all, don't go get a 4-year degree. But what I want to talk to you about today is make sure you're getting the right degree for what you want to do. If what you want to do requires 4 or more, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. I don't want you to feel bad about that. I'm going to show this video. It is a little long. It's like 9 minutes long, but it kind of talks about the needs in our economy and what kind of degrees will fill those needs.
Education is core to our economy, but in order to guide our educational systems and maximize future income, we must understand the misalignment between education and our workforce. In my pursuit of higher education, I have earned 2 bachelor's degrees, 2 master's degrees, and am working on a
That's pretty
PhD.
excessive.
In total, this has cost me over $150,000. I've done all this because I believe formal education is important. Part of this belief came from seeing charts like this, presenting a correlation between higher degrees and higher income, showing on average that a person with a college degree earns far more money than the average person without a high school diploma. This perceived higher earnings for having a 4-year degree has fueled a college for all philosophy, causing educators and parents to encourage going to the university, any university, to major in anything in pursuit of future job security, social mobility, and financial prosperity. This philosophy has increased college enrollment, resulting in 66% of high school graduates in this country enrolling in higher education right after high school. That's 2 out of 3. Initially, they are deemed the successful ones. But what you won't see advertised is the reality that most drop out, and only a quarter of those that enroll will finish a bachelor's degree. Only after these few graduate do many of them start exploring careers. It is here that they discover that their degree may not have prepared them for the world of work. You may be well educated, but not every degree is direct preparation for employment. This misalignment between degrees and job skills causes half of university graduates to be underemployed in what are called gray-collar jobs, taking positions that do not require the education they have received at a cost that is more than they can afford. Conventional wisdom suggests that a university degree guarantees a higher salary, but with rising education costs, a shrinking job market, and the oversaturation of some academic majors in the workforce, this old advice is now a myth for a majority of students. The economy and the world have dramatically changed. Over the last 3 generations, we've gone from 13% of the population stepping into a college classroom to 60% attending some form of higher education. In 1960, when taking into account all jobs in the American economy, 20% required a 4-year degree or higher, 20% were technical jobs requiring skilled training, and 60% were classified as unskilled. But what's the right percentage to meet the labor market demand for tomorrow? In 2018, Harvard University predicts only 33% of all jobs will require a 4-year degree or more, while the overwhelming majority will be middle-skilled jobs, requiring technical skills and training at the credential or associate degree level. A four-year degree may have many benefits, but think about the people you know who, from an economic perspective, inefficiently spend time and money to get a degree that perhaps they didn't really need for the career they are in. The true ratio of jobs in our economy is 1 to 7. For every occupation that requires a master's degree or more, 2 professional jobs require a university degree. And there are over half a dozen jobs requiring a 1-year certificate or a 2-year degree. And each of these technicians are in very high-skilled areas that are in great demand. This ratio is fundamental to all industries. It was the same in 1950, the same in 1990, and will be the same in 2030. The hope for encouraging university education is that as the number of university-trained workers increases, the demand for their services in the workplace will increase as well. Unfortunately, this is not so. The whole pie may get bigger as the labor force and the economy grows, but the ratio will not change. The reality is, there will not be more professional jobs available within the labor market, and some professional jobs have been replaced by technology, or are being outsourced. Well-intentioned attempts to send more and more students straight to the university will not change the types of jobs that dominate our economy, nor will a college-for-all mentality mask these labor market realities. The college-for-all rhetoric that has been so much a part of the current education reform movement is often interpreted as university-for-all. This message needs to be significantly broadened to a post-high school credential-for-all. Students at various educational levels have left school without employable skills, setting up our children for failure, costing them and taxpayers millions. All while the labor market is desperate for highly trained, skilled technicians. So, how do you position yourself for high-wage, in-demand jobs? Let's say you were considering a career as either an electrician or a business manager. You would find that the average annual income for electricians is $51,000. Only about half of the $105,000 average wage for management occupations. So at first glance, it looks as if getting a bachelor's degree in business is a no-brainer. But adding skills and ability into the picture adds a whole new dynamic. What if you have the potential to become an excellent electrician, but lack the skills and ability to be an excellent manager? Then you should be looking at projected incomes towards the bottom of the pay scale for managers, and towards the top for electricians. You would then discover that electricians near the top of the pay scale make around $86,000, far higher than the income of a manager near the bottom of the pay scale at $52,000. Now this is just one example, but the concept is true throughout all industries. The claim that you will make more money with an increased amount of education is not necessarily inaccurate, it's just incomplete. That advice is based just on the averages, but no one is perfectly average. Everyone has unique skills, talents, and interests. In fact, the income for the top individuals in a wide variety of skilled jobs that require an industry credential or 2-year degree is far higher than the average income for many occupations that require a 4-year degree. Nationally, associate degree earners range between $27,000 and $68,000, while bachelor's recipients earn between $34,000 and $97,000. But this data only accounts for the 25th to the 75th percentile of full-time adult workers. This means that 25% of associate degree holders earn more than $68,000 annually, and 25% of bachelor's degree holders earn less than $34,000. Our world has changed, and in this new economy, the university degree is no longer the guaranteed path towards financial success as it was for previous generations. And even if you do earn one, that education alone may not be enough. In today's highly technical, knowledge-based economy, having hands-on skills and perfecting what you're good at can be more valuable than getting a degree in something simply to get one. Employers want to know what you can do and what you can do well, not just what degree hangs on your wall. Since new and emerging occupations in every industry now require a combination of academic knowledge and technical ability, we need to ensure that we're also guiding students towards careers and not just to the university. So before enrolling in classes or deciding what you're going to do next in your life, step 1 is self-exploration. In addition to your interests, really analyze your talents and strengths. Step 2 is career exploration. Understand the jobs available, the income ranges they pay, and evaluate the skills they require. Identifying an area that appeals to your interests, skills, and the labor market may be your first career. And then you can develop a tentative career plan, complete with multiple training and education options. The key is to align your interests and abilities with your first career choice and the education and training you'll need to receive. This alignment will help bring your future future into focus and ensure your position at the top of the pay scale in your chosen career. What all this data shows is that success in the new economy is as much about acquiring the knowledge, skills, and abilities needed for in-demand occupations as it is to be well educated. Both paths may work for you, but education combined with technical training is how you ultimately secure a competitive advantage in the new economy. Community colleges are in the ideal position to provide over 70% of tomorrow's workforce with an education combined with applied technical skills, industry-driven credentials, and specific preparation for employment. Being a skilled craftsman or technician is highly valued. Investments in career education programs at high schools and community colleges will help all students obtain an education, which includes technical training and preparation for the workplace. Ultimately, this is how all students can be successful. In the new economy, both education and technical skills are the new currency. Will you be ready?
Move the rest back on the screen. Like from the top, there was like an X.
No, thank you. All right. No, we just have technical Okay. So, that said, and again, many of you are probably thinking getting a bachelor's degree, and that's great. And I know that a lot of you might be undecided. How many of you sitting here today, if I told you this was your one and only chance to make an absolute career decision for the rest of your life, would feel confident in what you want to study? Okay, so like maybe 10 people. And congratulations, that's awesome. But know that most students are undecided, and that is normal. UW-Eau Claire likes to say every year that their #1 major for incoming students is undecided. That's totally okay. But think about your skills, think about your interests. We don't want you to choose a career path just because it sounds interesting, or not even, if it sounds interesting, great, but just have a major in something, like I was English because, I like to read, great. I was good at writing, great, but I didn't know what it would do for me. There are a lot of people that go on to school, that get degrees, that graduate, and then become underemployed, which means that they're working in a job that wouldn't require the training that they had, and that training is not free. This is stats that I get from this colleague I have with the Workforce Development Board in Wisconsin. Throughout the United States, of people that have bachelor's degrees, right now in the United States, 80,000 of them drive truck, 83,000 are bartenders, 115,000 are janitors, and 323,000 are restaurant servers. There is nothing wrong with these careers. Okay, there's nothing wrong with these jobs. But you don't need to invest $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 in training to become a bartender. All right? It's like a couple night class to become a bartender. You need a CDL license and some driving lessons to be a truck driver, not an $80,000 degree. We have low unemployment